Thank you, AICRA, and congratulations to all the award winners. Normally, the Air Force gets the last word, but I find I am the first speaker among the armed forces today, and it's a privilege. Now, I'm not going to tell you what AI is all about, because you're the people who are going to deliver AI, but as a military man, as an Air Force man, as a fighter pilot, operational guy, I want to tell you what we in the Air Force are looking for. How do we want to use it? How do we actually use it? And so that you people in this audience will be able to deliver this to us at some point. You know, air and space are very, very dynamic environments. Very high speed, three-dimensional, and constantly changing transients, changing very, very quickly. So therefore, the application in air and space for AI is absolutely phenomenal. Let me explain to you some of this. You know, in a fighter aircraft, you're not flying alone, you're in a group, you have to do a plan. It could be a group of maybe 100 aircraft strike coming in multi-directions from multi-places, multi-air bases, having multiple targets, using multiple weapons. What a complex exercise. Now, we have been using computers to do our planning for coordinated strikes, but there is much more to it. And the fighter aircraft, within the fighter aircraft, you have got a weapon, you have got a head-up display, you've got a helmet-mounted sight. All these fellows are interacting with the weapons that are on board, and those weapons have to be delivered on a target, whether it's in the air or in the ground. And I tell you all the time, ideal, very expensive weapons. You know, a weapon could be as expensive as $1 million. That's the kind of cost of the missile is. So therefore, when this weapon has to be released, I must, as a pilot, get support from artificial intelligence to be able to deliver the weapon on the target in an environment where there is electronic warfare, there are various other means being used by the opponent or the adversary. So in a fighter cockpit, see the amount of exercise. Let me put this also to a civil airliner. You know, we are all talking about one crew airliners. They're being tested physically. They showed it in the Dubai Air Show last year. So single crew airliner, who's there on the second seat? It's the co-pilot, who's a robo. Physically, he's not sitting there, but there is automated actions of the co-pilot being taken in this other seat. We are talking of unmanned urban mobility, already being tested in Middle East, some of the countries. Dubai has also demonstrated that you could be traveling from one place to another. It will be an airborne taxi with not using a pilot sitting over there. So unmanned air mobility is another area. Autonomous weapons, a weapon will leave. After having left for a target, there's a change of plan. There's a change of target. The weapon will decide on its own autonomously and go towards another target. So see how the weapon itself is going to be able to use for different drones. Now, you all have seen in the last 2 years at the national level the effort that's being put in right at the head of the executive, how we are trying to push drones. We are pushing drone swarms. Some of the speakers in the morning have already spoken about what drone swarms are all about. There are anti-drone swarms. That means the swarm versus swarm combat will take place in the air. So there is a great potential in the air, especially in autonomous drones. Then unmanned combination. We are already having aircraft which will have a couple of drones which they are either launching from their own mother aircraft, or they will be physically controlled, from this aircraft. So man-unmanned teaming. Then optionally manned aircraft, F-16s, many other aircraft have been tried. Even MiG-21 has been tried, where you may or may not have the pilot in the cockpit, and that fellow will leave alone, and therefore he must take his own decisions as far as possible without intervention from the ground. And therefore, there is an amount of, autonomy that is required for him, and then he will require, AI. Air traffic control. The kind of density of air action that's taking place on any given time. Those of you who use the flight tracker, You can see on a map how many aeroplanes are flying at any given time around the world. Over 100,000 aeroplanes are airborne all the time. So there is a great amount of scope in air traffic control, radar, ground radars, air defense systems. They have to handle complex scenarios, offensive missions, defensive missions, now with drones. And imagine in, in a tactical battle area, the airspace management that you have to do. All this requires AI solutions because the situation is complex, situation is very dynamic. Flight safety. We keep having some accidents. But if you see the analysis of more modern aircraft which have got greater automation on board, the accident rates have reduced or have become of a different type, which is related to automation itself. So flight safety, where the AI will help prevent the pilot from going outside the limits of the aircraft's performance, will give optimum performance of the aircraft itself, is another area where, in aviation, we simulations, simulators, wargaming, another area, where the AI will be extensively used. Battle damage assessment. We had somebody spoke in the morning session about maintenance of aircraft, civil aircraft, self-healing structures on board an aircraft. There will be preventive maintenance that AI will support. Prevent means within the air, the AI will help the pilot understand what has failed and will automatically transmit the position to the ground so that when the aircraft lands, the spares are already positioned, the actions to be taken for repair are already there, and therefore the turnaround time is going to reduce. China, who is currently the most important adversary, has invested large amounts in AI, both in space and in airborne systems. So I think this is something we have to become conscious. I'm very happy that AI is coming up in a big way in the country, and we have to start our capability building to counter the AI that's being brought in aerospace systems by China. So this is another area I thought I will just mention. There has to be great interaction between the armed forces, between the academia, the industry. All three have to work together. Think tanks like ours and the heads of the other think tanks who are sitting over here, we are already interacting. We are doing events. We are meeting the people of industry. Ms. Sharma has been to my office, a few times, and we have discussed how we are going to work together and push AI into defense-related, areas. And this garage to cockpit is what we are all looking at in the Air Force. I am from Center for Air Power Studies. We are the sort of main think tank for air and space, and we will be very happy to have any of you startups coming and visiting us, interacting with us. We have got a large number of researchers. They can we can understand what you can give. We can tell you what we need, and that's how we propose to work with you. Thank you once again for inviting me for this event, and it's been a pleasure listening to some of the people in the morning. And I'm sure as the deliberations go on for the next 2 days, we are all going to be win-win India first. Yes, thank you.